Okay, we will reconvene with our normal session, and we will move into our public comment period. Also, just asking. All in favor? Any opposed? The ayes have it. If there's anyone here that would like to speak during our public comment period, we're going to ask that you approach the podium. Please sign in. We have to take a roll call vote.
Have to take a roll call vote in order to come out of executive session. So, Freeman, Fusco, Hoke, Kamer, Key, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Samples, Sims? Yes. Somerville?
Aye.
Swirsky?
Aye.
All right. Those who are going to speak during our public comment period, we're going to ask that you please sign in, that you state your full name, spell your last name, and give us your address. You will have 3 minutes to speak to this body. Speakers are reminded that this is an official meeting. Remarks should be kept respectful and germane to council business. Speakers should refrain from making any personal attacks. Anyone who breaches decorum will be ruled out of order and may be removed from council chambers. All right.
Good evening. My name is Sage Lewis. I represent Second Chance Village at 15 Broad Street in Akron. Today represents the first day the homeless of Akron and America formally request to be permitted to live in society. Second Chance Village has just submitted its conditional use permit to be allowed to continue to exist as a conditional campground. We stand up for our homeless neighbors under the premise that American citizens are living in the most wretched, deplorable squalor you can imagine under bridges, in the woods, and on the streets. We will not allow this condition to continue. Second Chance Village is a solution to lift the homeless out of the gutters and help them re-enter society and housing. We are a stepping stone to re-entry. As you consider this request, please know these facts. Over 200 people have stayed with us at least one night, coming either directly from the woods or drug houses. 85% of our villagers make less than $1 a day, making them part of the world's most extreme poor. Most of them have lost everything, including birth certificates, photo IDs, and social security cards. Nearly 100% have diagnosed mental health issues that are aggravated by the lack of stability, regular treatment, and the trauma of living on the street long term. All villagers are required to call 211 Info Line to get on the list for housing. And we've had great success getting people into housing with Info Line's Home Again Rapid Rehousing program. This program requires people to come from either a shelter or sleeping in a place not meant for human habitation, such as a tent. This makes Second Chance Village an ideal fit for the Home Again program. Additionally, all villagers are required to go to Portage Path for a mental health assessment. We have half a dozen weekly addiction recovery classes, and we have 2 church services on Sunday. Our facility is completely run by the homeless, from our intake process to our code of conduct, to our laundry, to our computer lab, to our food pantry, to our democratically elected tri-council. All have been created and implemented by the homeless. Ultimately, this community is the iconic manifestation of the American ideal. These people that society have forgotten and stranded on our streets have taken an abandoned plot of land and created something beautiful for themselves. These are American-born refugees that have made the beginning of an amazing community. It is by the homeless, for the homeless. If you take this away from them, they will understand that society truly does not care about them, that we don't truly want them to succeed or even exist.
You have about 20 seconds.
Yes, sir. Second Chance Village is more than 35 people living in tents in an abandoned backyard that can't be seen from the street. It is a close-knit community, the likes of which I have never experienced in my life. It is the hope for all the 500,000 homeless of America. It is the incarnate biblical symbol of faith, love, and hope that we all believe in. You allowing Second Chance Village to exist tell the homeless of Akron and America that we care, that we are coming to help them. Please approve the conditional campground application of Second Chance Village. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
City Council. My name is Paul A. Buchanan. I was born, raised, educated, and given a particular outlook on life that had the whole community, that has everybody involved. I am a people person. I came to back this up. I have in my hand here a conglomeration of petitions that are signed by supporters who come to Second Village, they come there to donate food items, clothing items, to donate infrastructural items. My position there is head of maintenance. I have to make sure that that facility runs real well, you understand? But what I want you to know is there's a lot of people backing us up here. Fire department, the health department, many other agencies like, excuse me, I'm not a speaker, so you please bear with me. We have periodic visits by the building bureau and other agencies in this society come there. They are really behind what it is we're doing here, okay? We're trying to bring in people in a transitional manner, take them out of the woods, under bridges and all kind of places, and reform them so that they be productive members of society. So with that, I want to thank you. And if you want to take a look at these petitions, I have over 600 here, signed signatures, and more on line, and more coming in. So the city is with us. I hope the council is.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone else to speak during our public comment period? If so, you can approach the podium.
Hi, I'm Miss Annette Baker, and I represent Second Chance Village as well. Now, I myself run the high-end store of Second Chance Village. Well, I wrote something very simple. You may see us here and there, but we are everywhere in the world, not only here in Akron, but Akron has a very high rate of homelessness. We deserve a chance, so give us one. Thank you very much. I am Miss Baker. Thank you, Madam President, and everyone in the council.
Thank you, Mrs. Baker. Anyone else here to speak during our public comment period?
Yes. My name is Ronald Keith, and I was previously a resident at Second Chance. I now live in Barberton, Ohio, in a beautiful apartment, thanks to the help of Second Chance and the avenues that they afforded me. I'll tell you, there's nothing like a place that can help you when you really need it. And without it, we'll be a lot poorer. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Mr. Keith.
Hi, my name is Ryan Scanlon. I'm here to represent Second Chance. I myself am not homeless anymore. I'm still living at 1180 Laird. It's something that I myself put together in a similar situation. I took something that was nothing and I made something of it despite of the adversity that was facing me and threats of tearing down my house. I'm still in it. But I want to come here and talk about the homeless charity and tell you guys that it's a wonderful nonprofit. But mostly I wanted to talk about Second Chance Village. Second Chance Village is a tribe. It's made of survivors, some forgotten by and some shunned by and some failed by other programs and organizations in Summit County. Living on the streets, traumatizing. Over time, it changes a man, just like prison. We're reintegrating people into society by making them part of a small, growing community. It's one of the most important things we can do with our time while they are striving to meet the requirements of the few, strict, and slow programs designed to house the people in need. If the tribe were forced to leave at this point with its structure, solidarity, and leadership, then I can say without a doubt it will start a long conflict that only one side is truly ready for. The tribe would then be, by definition, qualified as refugees. They already are in my mind. I come here today to see the faces of the opposition and to tell them we will not be moved. We will not just fade away, and if we leave together. The mission to care for the fallen and forgotten will not end. In a city overrun with drug dealers, corruption, and violence, I would think that you have better things to do than stand in the way of the progress of someone doing what, in popular opinion, is your unmet obligation to these citizens. I would like to thank the community for all the support. I didn't write you a eulogy today. I wrote a fight song. We will not be moved.
Thank you, Mr. Scanley.
Hi, my name's Melissa Lewis, and I live in Ward 4 at 72 North Pershing, and I work at 15 Broad Street. Upstairs is Second Chance Village. I am the board chairman of the homeless charity, which is the 5013C that oversees Second Chance Village. And I just have a few things that I want to say. First, I just want to thank all of you and the city of Akron for how they have received the Second Chance Village thus far. I know that a lot of other states and cities that have been faced with tent encampments, and a lot of them have not responded sort of in the same measured and compassionate way that the city of Akron has, and I very much appreciate that. All the statistics I have in front of me are from the National Law Center on Homelessness and Poverty, a 2017 study that they just did. I don't know if you know this, but there's been an increase in homeless encampments in the last 10 years of 1,342%. This is clearly an issue that is affecting many, many more places than Akron, Ohio. There are over 100 documented semi-permanent tent encampments within the United States. Only 1 in 4 individuals in the U.S. who qualify for low-income housing actually receive it. There is a large population of unserved people in Akron and in the United States. Part of the issue is that shelters do an amazing job, but they just can't serve all the people that need them. There are a lot of barriers to sheltering that the people in Second Chance Village have experienced in Akron. Some of those barriers include requirements such as contracts, no safe storage of belongings, gender differentiations, religious barriers and requirements, and no day sheltering for people who have night jobs. And these are real issues that homeless people face. There have been in the last 10 years a lot of cities that approach these tent encampments with punitive criminalization type of attitudes and actions. Again, thank you for not being one of those cities. This study from the National Law Center of Homelessness and Poverty found those to be very costly and ineffective. Honolulu spends $15,000 a week sweeping homeless camps, and it does nothing. They simply reestablish elsewhere. Washington, D.C. had a 3-month campaign at $11,000 a week and did not help. It also sweeps. And more courts are finding that sweeping these camps is unconstitutional and a violation of the 8th Amendment. So I would just like to say that as you consider the conditional use, and I hope you'll consider it seriously, there is a town in New Mexico called, I'm going to say this wrong, I think it's La Cruces, New Mexico, and city officials are working very closely there with an encampment, a tent encampment. They regulate it closely, they even fund it somewhat, which is nothing we're asking for, but they have found, according to the New York Times article, that this encampment has been an amazing stepping stone for housing for its residents, and it's filled a gap in their continuum of care as a low barrier shelter. So I would just encourage you to look up the La Cruces, New Mexico tent encampment and how their city is dealing with it, because I feel like we have a chance to be really innovative here in Akron, work together, and come to an amazing solution. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Lewis.
Hello, my name is Gary Mikes. I'm a resident and maintenance man at Second Chance Village. Second Chance Village is exactly what it is, a second chance. Some of us are criminals, some of us have been drug addicts or alcoholics. But you know what? Things of the past should stay in the past sometimes. Do we give forgiveness to anybody? Our court system doesn't. For somebody that wrote a bad check 5 years ago, they can't go on a day without that being on their record. From now till they end up 6 feet under. What does Second Chance do? Give exactly that, a second chance. Here I am, working for free for a community that just asks for freedom. Here I am, right now, in the middle of having a second chance. They're helping me start my own nonprofit organization to help others that are homeless also by getting housing these houses in Akron that are abandoned, paying for them to house people just like ourselves, not just to live in a tent. That's only a stepping stone. I pray and I wish and hope that you give Second Chance a chance. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mikes.
Hello, my name's Lori Beal. Should I move this down or, okay? I just wanted to come tonight. I know there's going to be some decisions that are going to need to be made soon about Second Chance and the lives that are affected there. And it is lives, it's not a single entity. I think sometimes we think like homeless, and it's just like this thing. But I just want to thank Sage here. He actually is your ally. It might seem like, oh, he brought the posse, this is like my enemy. No, he's done the first part. He chose to look. I know, I'm going to admit it, when I used to come to Akron, I'd see the homeless. Oh, I live in Wadsworth. I had my blinders up, and I made sure my doors were locked, and I'd try to get past that intersection fast. Now I find myself, after spending a night there, to kind of really get an idea of what they're dealing with, now that I've made tons of friends there, and there day and night, I've never felt unsafe for 1 second. Now I look, and I just challenge you guys to look at the people here. I can look, there's tons of my friends sitting here, and I just challenge you to do what Sage did, and I thank him for that because I have a lot of cool friends now. So I just brought pictures, because that's what we do, right? We have pictures of our friends. There's always that aunt at the party. It's usually my aunt. Wants to show you pictures. This is Thomas. I run a ministry in Wadsworth for at-risk youth. First day I went to Second Chance, I saw him there. He was living there. He's now not living there. I helped move him into an apartment that Second Chance helped him find. Antonio, cool cat, always dressed really neat. He made some decisions to do some better stuff in his life, and that involved he wasn't able to stay where he's at now. So he had to make that hard choice, knowing that he wasn't going to have a roof over his head. Paul is the boss there. You need to know something, you go to him. Mary makes a mean pan of pasta. She works in the kitchen. Everyone there has a job. OP, Paul, they call him Old Paul. I'm not calling him Old Paul. He was standing up here saying he's not a very good speaker. I'll tell you what he is. He's very wise. Every time I talk to him, I learn something new. He speaks 6 languages. He lived in Africa. His company was a supplier for Pier 1 imports. We've all heard of that, right? Now he's homeless. It's not just the home, like these are actually people. Jared, best hugs ever. Tony works in the kitchen. That's his girlfriend, Destiny, her son, Isaiah. Last time I was there, I served him 4 hot dogs. Anybody from the street can
Ma'am, you have
come in.
about 30 seconds.
Okay. I'll go right to Tyrone then. Day I met him, we've been talking, went, got ice cream, came back. I found out his favorite ice cream's vanilla. But when I got back, I heard someone say, "Are you the Tyrone Rackley?" And he goes, "Yeah." And they're like, I didn't know what that was. Here, back in the 70s, 6th place in the world welterweight champion boxing. And I said, "Why didn't you tell me that?" And he said, "No one cares about 6th place. I care. I'm asking you guys to care. These people, it's not the least of these. I love like Jesus does not. Once you get a roof over your head, I'm going to love you. Once you get your crap together, I'm going to love you. Jesus loves me every day, whether I got my crap together or not."
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Ville. If we can remain, maintain
My name is
order,
Elliot
thank you.
Holmes. I'm a resident of Second Chance. I believe that Second Chance is a safe environment for everyone there. There are a lot of recovering alcoholic and addicts there, and me included. Some people will say, well, about Haven Arrest. But see, I've been in Haven Arrest. At Haven Arrest, you're going to stay 5 days and they kick you out a month. Unless you're on a work contract, a mental health contract, or get some kind of income. And even on the mental health contract, you got to get some kind of income. With that whole 80% for housing. And a lot of people at Second Chance Village don't have no income. So what about the ones that don't have income? For a month after 5 days, they'll be on the street. And you know, and y'all know, to let everybody else know, Nowadays, it's dangerous out there. People getting robbed, everything else. You know, Second Chance Village is a safe place, safe environment for everybody to go, to stay out of trouble. They have 2 mandatory meetings a week on Tuesdays and Saturdays. They have random drug screens, random breathalyzers, and you're urine positive or you get upload numbers, they kick you out 24 hours. Then when you come back, they take you to pass. So see, it's actually a good program. And Second Chance Village is the only place I know that where they actually pay for your birth certificate, NID, helping you get it, and also helping you get food stamps. Thursday, spend about $200 buying people state IDs. One lady, he spent $21 for a driver's license. So see, Second Chance Village is actually a good place. I just moved there today because I was in a non-safe environment. Tell you the truth, I am on parole. Before I moved, I called my parole officer. Her name's Ashley Stoyer. She's in the Casey Building, 104. She said, yes, of course you can move there. That's a good place. That's a good program. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else wanting to speak during our public comment period?
Yes, please.
Please approach the podium.
Thank you. My name's Chana. I'm new to the Akron area. I've only been here for about a year now. And I'd like to say thank you for your time. Thank you to everybody here in Akron. It's been nothing but helpful. It really needs to be cloned. CSS, Tent City, everything, respite, all of it, Pez, everything. I know that I had nowhere to go. And these guys here at Tent City, Gary and all of them, Ducky, they went, got a tent, put it up on pallets for me, took a bleach and everything else, scrubbed it down, put in brand new sleeping bags and everything else. Took me into a food pantry and let me pick out my own groceries because I didn't have anything. I mean, I don't like to live the part of homeless, but between that and Haven and things, a combination of Akron, I'm very grateful. And I think with a combination of everything and everybody working together, this is a very wonderful place. And Tent City is an asset because, like they were saying, there are a lot of people that have nowhere to sleep at all, and instead of just sleeping in random spots, it's better to have people somewhere than just out random in the streets. You know, if you're not going to go these other places, at least you do have somewhere to go, and they are caring. They care. Sage cares. Ducky cares. It's family. Everyone cares for each other. Respite's also very wonderful. Everything. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jonah.
Thank you. Have a blessed night.
Thank you.
My name is Ernie, and I'm here to thank Sage Lewis and Second Chance for giving me a second chance. Because it wouldn't have been for them when I got homeless and I was living on the street, I'd still be there. Unfortunately, I'm not there no more because they helped me. They helped me restructure my life, helped me get the things that I needed done, and I got them done, and I'm no longer there. Okay? I had a safe place to sleep. I was sleeping in a tent, but it was a safe haven. It wasn't someplace where I had to sleep in somebody's doorway and worry about something waking up and somebody hitting me over the head or whatever, stealing everything I had. Today I don't have to worry about that because of Second Chance. I've got a place to live. I don't have to worry being on the street. I'm doing the right thing. And that's what Second Chance does for all these people that are living homeless that go down there to get a second chance so they can restructure their life and get a place to live and get a place to, and do what society says. And that we need all the backing we can get to support this place. Everything that anybody can help with is greatly, greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is William Morgan, Sr. I come to speak on behalf of Second Chance for a few reasons tonight. One, a gentleman that's sitting here in the audience, him and myself were actually in a tent city before Second Chance even started. I was an alcoholic addict. Only by the grace of God, I can say I'm over 2 years sober now. By coming back in April of last year from the treatment facility I was in, I came down to Second Chance. A lot of stuff that was going on there needed some structure to it. I worked with Paul and Sage and everybody down there, and we bought structure to this place. We made sure there was security. We made sure that there was video monitoring of not only the inside, but outside as well. We worked with different people in the area to get more funding and more help to come into Second Chance. I can say now that I am not a resident of Second Chance anymore, but I am a supporter of it. By having Second Chance there, I was able to help with the infrastructure of it, help with getting things structured to where it would help the city as well, to make sure that stuff was getting cleaned up in the area, to make sure people have places to go for treatment. I work with 37 different treatment centers across the United States now, that at any given time I'd make a telephone call to them and say, hey, they need help. We can get that person there usually within a week. We have some that are here in Ohio as well as other states. I also want to say that I'm also helping getting people employed there now. The company I work for also works with the homeless, and we try to get people jobs. I was actually one of the people, they came in and hired me right out of Second Chance. I've now been gainfully employed for almost a year. I have a place to live now, driving a brand new vehicle, all from being homeless. Second Chance is something that's definitely needed here in the city of Akron. As we all know, there's a big epidemic of homelessness here, as well as drug problems, as well as other things. And it doesn't even have to be drugs to put somebody homeless. It could be mental issues, it could just be personal issues, it could be family issues that put people homeless. But we need a place like Second Chance for them to go to and have that chance in life. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan. Anyone else wishing to speak?
My name is Dolores Ann Paik, and I live at Second Chance Village. If Akron chooses to close Second Chance Village down, it does not double the capacity of the health clinics here in town to deal with people living with physical and/or psychological challenges. If the city of Akron chooses to close Second Chance down, it does not change the facilities and the programs that are currently available to heal and help people, women and men, and children coming from abusive situations. If you close Second Chance down, it does not give a single more bed than we have right now tonight for any addict or alcoholic who is finally ready to come clean. You can make the visibility of the problems of the Akron go away. You cannot make the people of Akron go away. As someone said to me as I was warming up my heater before I went to bed last night, you can't just throw people away. I've spoken.
Thank you, Mrs. Ann Pegg.
Madam Council, Chairperson and Council, and Mayor Hargan staff, I'm John Beatty, B-E-A-T-Y, and Ward 8, 2047 Wyndham Road. When Jesus was starting his mission, he turned in the Jewish scripture to the book of prophet Isaiah, chapter 61, and found the place where it was written, "The Spirit of the Lord is on me, because he's anointed me to preach good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight to the blind, to release the oppressed, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor." The great Mahatma Gandhi is believed to have spoken these words, "A nation's greatness, may I say a city's greatness, is measured by how it treats its weakest members." The miracle of Second Chance Village is this: the houseless have pulled themselves up by their own bootstraps and made a home for themselves, Second Chance Village. The rich and powerful make the rules. Rules do not come over and above the welfare of our weakest members of society. When rules hurt people, Jesus broke those rules. They should be amended. Shoot, here at City Council, half of your actions, more than half of your actions, come by the suspension of rules. These residents of Second Chance Village are building a home for themselves. We should be patient and supportive. Do not use zoning rules to destroy what they so amazingly are building for themselves. These folks look out for each other. You've heard them. They have each other's backs. They share information. They share what little they have. They, in many ways, are a model neighborhood that we're all trying to initiate in the community. We should all go there and find out why they prefer to stay together in tents instead of depending on the rich and powerful to provide for them. Self-initiative, innovation, mutual collaboration is what our universities teach as ideal business practices. Go to Second Chance Village and see it in action. One of the cardinal rules for our actions is just do no harm. Just leave them alone.
Seconds.
Let
Mr.
them
Beatty?
succeed or fail. Be
30
patient.
seconds.
Be kind. Be just. The city in the past has invaded their tent cities in the woods, confiscated their meager goods, and physically drove them out of downtown. They've been herded out from under the Route 8 High Bridge. They've been herded out from under the Market Street Bridge to make way for the Freedom Trail by Summit County Metro Parks. Enough is enough. Just leave them alone. Work with them. Don't hurt them. Give them support as they carry out what may be the most unique solution for homelessness in America. Let them build it themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Beatty. Anyone else wishing to speak during our public comment period?
I'm not very good at public speaking, but what I do here is...
Can you please give us your name?
Amy McPeak, and I'm just shocked that we're even having a council on this. Humanity demands human dignity. It's demanded. Our Constitution demands human dignity. Our society demands human dignity. The world demands human dignity. How are we treating people with human dignity? Where would we be? Where would we go? Where would we go? If we have nowhere to go, where would we go? There's security cameras there. Women are safe there. They're not getting harmed. No one's stealing. There aren't any crimes going on. Where would we go? Why would we be treated as outcasts? We're human beings that ought to be treated as human beings with dignity, common courtesy, common human respect. I mean, I'm astonished that we are actually looking at human beings as though they're expendable, like disposable. Where would we be disposed of? What would happen to us? What would happen to our families? A lot of us have children and grandchildren. We are the product of a family. People have, I mean, we weren't just created out of midair. You know, we have families. Some of our families aren't as close as others. We are a consequence of society, and some of us have fallen through the gaps. Would that make it our fault? You know, what are we to do? We are struggling in a society where we've already had been stereotypes or have faced boundaries and borders, and we're struggling. I mean, we're seriously struggling. It isn't like we've chosen to live our lives in such conditions to where people look at us as though we're less than human. I mean, what are we to do? Seriously, what are we to do when we look at it with true, pure wisdom? The wisdom of God, the wisdom of whatever someone might want to call it. I call it wisdom, the wisdom of God. What is it that we say? We're human beings. We look at other nations that outcast men and women and children, but what happens when we're doing it in our own cities and our own nation? How could we even possibly try to dignify closing down anything that supports people who are trying to find some kind of foundation in the struggles that they're facing, regardless of what they are? Every human being, regardless of their struggle, deserves to at least pursue their happiness, whatever that might be for them.
You have about 30 seconds.
Well, I'm good. I appreciate you allowing me to speak, and I just pray to God that everyone goes, when this is discussed or thought upon, that to use wisdom, to truly sit back and really ponder on how we're trying to categorize human beings and with dignity. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Anyone else here to wish to speak during our public comment period?
Hi, my name is Beth Field. I live at 115 Oakdale Avenue. I am the COO and Director of Programming of the Big Love Network. One of the programs that I oversee is the Akron City Repair Project. We are currently in Middlebury, West Hill, Cascade Valley, and Summit Lake. We are growing into we are growing into Kenmore, into University Park and West Akron neighborhoods. We see things all over the city. We deal very closely with people's sense of place and sense of identity and sense of neighborhood identity and help people identify and express that sense of identity. With that sense of place and having been in the third year of our city repair process on the corner of Broad and Market where the Second Chance Village thrives, we have seen over the last year this sense of place and therefore people's sense of dignity grow in a way that I can't even really fully describe. When you give people a chance to really have a stable place to live, their sense of democracy and their sense of dignity goes through the roof. It's really a beautiful process that we've been able to see, and let's face it, it's filling a gap. They're able to build tiny homes where they exist. They will be filling a gap. We help to do a thing that's called tactical urbanism, where you have pop-up events and then semi-permanent things before you create permanent things. This is a housing solution that is semi-permanent, that allows folks to be able to get their stuff together enough to be employed, to be able to eventually get an apartment, right? It gives them that chance. Putting them through the rigmarole of running through the system that we have right now never really allows them to have that chance. We also work with lots of people throughout the Middlebury community, from the Well CDC, from EANDC, neighborhood networks that are extremely supportive of what is going on at Second Chance Village. And we know that it's not perfect. We just recently got them in contact with Summit Reworks to help them get the trash and things like that audited and figured out how to move forward with that. And we also realize that there are national channels in which to understand best practices around tiny homes.
You have about 30 seconds.
Of our partners in Portland, Oregon have helped the city officials approve tiny home villages in Portland, Oregon through a design process, and we have open content for that and are helping them get that. And what is really one of the most beautiful symbols that the Second Chance Village has really risen around, that I think is a great analogy for Akron as a whole, is the image of the phoenix. And they've been working with Mac Love and a number of other community artists to really bring that image forward. And who out of all of the city of Akron can't agree with trying to rise out of our ashes? Please allow Second Chance Village the chance to rise out of those ashes.
Thank you, Beth.
My name is Steve Noem. I live in Cuyahoga Falls, 1928 6th Street. As in weeks past, I'm here to talk about retiree benefits. There are retirees in the audience. There's retirees out in the hallway. You can ask if you want to know which ones are there. I don't want to get into trouble on that. At any rate, reviewing last Thursday's Beacon Journal article about the arbitrators ruling backing the Akron Police Union, I noted a number of similarities with the actions the city has taken with other retirees. Specifically, changes were made in bad faith. The city has acted less than honest through the labor negotiations process in 2016. The Blue Ribbon Task Force said the city should work with the unions to trim costs, but the city refused to negotiate. The city's exercise of discretion to unilaterally impose changes on retiree benefits for the first time in 2016 after at least 25 years of providing for a retiree health insurance benefit to be arbitrary and in bad faith. In the article, the mayor was quoted as saying, "Many of our residents are struggling to make ends meet. By requiring retirees with spouses under the age of 65 to pay for Oprah's insurance to get city coverage or to get expensive but more affordable health insurance with high deductibles, the mayor has increased the number of struggling residents by near to 1,000 people. Excluding spouses doesn't save enough money to really help the city finances, but it does severely hurt the financial health of the retirees. The underhanded way the city tried to deal with legacy costs certainly should be a concern of all citizens of Akron. It reflects badly on the integrity of the administration and elected officials. The arbitrator's ruling should be applied to all city retirees, not just the police. The city should start over and openly and honestly work with the unions so that retirees, their spouses, and dependents will have the quality insurance they formerly had at a cost that is realistic and reasonable. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. No.
Hi, my name's Linda Carter, and I started following newspaper articles about Second Chance Village, and I was real interested in it. And I found a friend that goes down there a lot. She's already spoke tonight, Lori Beal. She goes down there regularly, and I went with her a couple of times, and what I saw was a group of people all working together to help yourself. They are a close group, they are organized, they're responsible, they want to work. They're not just no counts, they are people, they are human beings that want to help theirself, and they are. With Sage Lewis's help, they are helping theirself, and they are having their basic needs met, and I'm grateful for that. And I would just like to say that Second Chance Village is not just a handout, it's a hand up. And these people, I knew one person who went there who was on the streets and went to Second Chance, and he now has an apartment, and he's doing very well, and as others have said here tonight. So I just hope that you'll consider and help them to be able to stay and help themselves and have a place to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Carter. Is there anyone else here in the audience that would like to speak during our public comment period? Please approach the podium.
My name's Deborah Simpson, S-I-M-P-S-O-N. I live at 153 Henry Street, and it's really close to the neighborhood. I saw a post on Facebook. I thought, oh, wow, a thrift store. Everyone loves a thrift store, so it was really close to me, so I decided to go down there, and it was quite eye-opening. I've been going over there for about a year now, and everyone is so kind and helpful. I never feel afraid. It's my neighborhood. There's a lot of really poor folks in that neighborhood. If anybody drives over there, you'll know it's a tough area. And I really believe that they don't just help themselves, that the poor people in that neighborhood can go there if their water's shut off. They can get a shower. If they need clothes, they can get clothes. If they need food, anything, they can go there. And until there is a better solution for them and where they're at, I really believe they're an asset to the neighborhood. You can't even see them from the road. They're behind the building. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Simpson. Is there anyone else here to speak during our public comment period? Seeing none, we will close our public comment period and go into our committee assignments. Rules, Councilwoman Keith.
Thank you, Madam President. 2:30.
Budget and Finance, Councilman Freeman.
3 p.m.
Planning, Councilman Fusco.
1:30.
Public Service, Councilwoman Keith.
2 o'clock.
Public Utilities, Councilwoman Samples. Public Safety, Councilman Kamer. Parks and Rec, Councilman Neal. Housing, Councilman Kilby. Health and Social Services, Councilman Freeman. Economic Development, Councilwoman Sims. Green Committee, Councilman Swirsky.
1 o'clock.
Is there anything else coming before this body? Is there a second? All in favor signify by saying aye. Motion to adjourn? All in favor?